Alrighty, so I'd like to do react to more like summaries of live streams I'm doing with Ahmadi fact checkers. So basically every time I do a live stream, I usually produce summary of references and things like that. And I can't normally, I haven't really tried, but I can't normally post links on other people's channels, but I can do on my own channel. So basically I do a react and then I put all the evidence in one place, references from the Quran, etc., pinned in a pinned comment in my videos, like I will do here. So that's kind of the purpose. But also, it's nice to respond to. I wait for the video to go for a few days, collect some comments, and then respond to those comments as well. But I'll be giving written comments in the comment section as well. Anyway, let's go. So I'm just gonna react to this video that I did. Here we go. Is that going to be a bad idea? Window, maybe a bit window is better. Tab is probably best. Let's go for tab then. All right. Okay. So, sharing that, let's whiz through these comments. Okay, so there's two things I want to. I like responding to the live comments, but we don't really have time to respond to the live comments during the live stream. So I'm going to go through some of them. Actually, even before I start, I suppose I should just introduce. So this video is about, was Maryam, mother of Jesus, Mary, mother of Jesus, a hermaphrodite? People mostly don't know what that is. There's quite a bit of a spectrum of what that is. I'm not even a specialist in what that is, but basically it means you could have both organs of types, but you might not be able to see both organs as far as I understand. So you might be thinking you're entirely woman, but you might have something internally that enables you to reproduce, because you've got part of, maybe not necessarily visible, but part of the male sexual organ, even though you might be mostly woman. So that's important because I saw some comments and I'll explain a few things for a few people. But yeah, I want to go through the live stream comment. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is I think Ahmadi Bashir of Ahmadi Fact Checker blog, whatever his channel's called, he did a great job. He was trying hard to make sure people were not just being rude, they were keeping on topic. Fantastic. And also he was honest in some ways, right? So like the main thing that I was covering was like, let's stick to the Quran. If you're a proper Muslim, don't go to other sources and ignore the Quran. That's what tends to happen with Sunni Muslims when they don't like what the Quran says. And I said, what's your evidence that these miracles are not within God's laws? And if you're saying it's outside God's laws, doesn't suggest that God couldn't plan, even though in the Quran it says the best of planners. So all I'm saying is be open to the idea that it's within God's law. And none of the people who could go on the stream managed to argue against it and to had no evidence against it. The best argument, I'm not even sure if it's the best argument, but it seemed to be like psychologically the most common argument people had, and one person actually basically said it, was that we're right and you have to prove us wrong or something, like assuming that they're right in the first place, which is, I think, common. It's very common for people to think like that. Anyway, let's get on to responding to some of these live chat, and then I'll respond to these comments as well. And some of them are okay, So, assalamu alaikum. Somebody was saying, like, I don't know about, what's this? That Miriam was 30 feet tall. Never read that. Interesting. It'd be interesting to see the reference for that. So anyway, nothing particularly useful in the first bit, but I did see like some r- polite comments, let's say. There was one person saying, don't, I can't see her anymore, but I saw the corner of my eye while I was talking was, don't be rude. That was nice for somebody else to say that. Don't be rude in a live chat. But can I see anything besides laughing face? Okay, AX, we only affirm what the Quran says. Me too. But, well, the problem is people claim that they only affirm what the Quran says, but they didn't have an argument to say that miracles are outside the laws of nature. So anybody can claim things about themselves. They can claim they're the best basketball player in the world, but you got to have evidence for what you're saying. And in fact, most people don't really care what the Quran says. From my last two live streams with Bashir of Ahmadi Fact Checkers, there's a Bashir there. What else? Any useful comments? Okay, Salam, brother Bashir. Please ask him what's the scientific evidence for Allah's existence. I mean, okay, that's interesting. Like, you don't think there's scientific evidence for Allah's existence? You think it's just a gut feeling only? There's no logical reason. I think if you go to Speaker's Corner, this is very interesting. Very interesting. The Muslims in Speaker's Corner are all very logical on proving the existence of God or disproving Christianity and things like that. But when it comes to miracles, they stop believing in logic. It's a double standard. That's not a good double standard. But anyway, it's a bit, maybe this comment's a bit weird. Like, do you think that it's not logical or scientific to believe in God? I've done loads of videos on that, by the way. Just look at the second law of thermodynamics. It talks about by nature, and this is a common sense experience as well. By nature, we know things fall apart unless there's an intelligent existence putting those things into order. So the universe should have got less complicated, more chaotic, but no, you get things like Earth and very highly organized systems to maintain our lives. So there's plenty of scientific evidence. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe you've been fooled by the atheists who give the impression that it's not scientific to believe in God. It's literally the opposite. There's no science against the existence of God. It's all for the existence of God. Anyway, bit off topic, I suppose. And let me just skip so I don't want to make this video particularly long. What was it? Mirza Ghulam Ahmad could have been a hermaphrodite if you used the Guardiani logic. No, that didn't even make any sense. But anyway, like, I could be a hermaphrodite. No. The reason why we're considering it is that, how do you explain somebody not having a husband or a father? How do you explain Jesus not having a father? That's something to explain. There's a reason for this. It's not you just randomly call people hermaphrodites. The Quran doesn't speak about it. Okay, therefore it's perfectly logical and impossible he had female genitals. Anyway, I think it's just really being insulting, but it's not particularly intelligent. Aisha Shams, why would someone join if they had no idea what the stream was about? Are you kidding me? Okay. Yeah. Should know what the stream is about. It's a good point. Ahmedi check. Dennis Grill's Miracles Encyclopedia. This whole world is a miracle. It's true. That is a very good point. Like, we don't depend on miracles, these miracles of the past, to be convinced of God's existence. Everything, including the Quran, everything, a leaf is a miracle. If we delve into it. And yeah, it was good to having. So just probably worth mentioning, me and Bashir are going to be doing a lot of live streams together, going through all sorts of differences between Ahmadi Muslims and other Muslims, including what is the jinn, other miracles, all sorts of other issues um, that can be claimed about against the Ahmadi Muslim community. Are we a cult? Let's think about that. Let's talk about censorship. I'll be talking about censorship this Wednesday in the Ahmadi Muslim community. What are the issues around that, and probably some other topics. Yeah, okay, let's just get into. Is there anything else? What's this? Can I join the stream? So people join the stream. That was good. I like that part of the format. I think we're going to keep to that format. Like last 10 minutes, get people ask questions. I was suggesting people can ask anything they want. Bashir was saying keep it on topic. I suppose that's useful to make, a focused live stream, isn't it? I suppose that's nice. And we'll be covering all sorts of things, isn't it? So people have an opportunity in the later streams to talk about other things. We've done a stream before about proof that Prophet Muhammad was, that you can be prophets after prophets can exist after Prophet Muhammad. I think all sorts of things like that already. So there are all sorts of opportunities to about all sorts of topics. Let's just get to the end. Is anything different? And then we move on to the non-live chat comments. The apparent meaning of the Quran is that they are supernatural. That's your assumption, but could we have facts, please? Khalid can't seem to address chapter. He keeps acting like he can't understand the question. 3412. I wonder what 3412 is. I'll have a quick look. 3412. 3412. Where is it? What have we got here? StreamYard. Okay. I'm going to have a quick look at 3412. Quran 3412. Quran app 3412. I'm having a look. Maybe I should let's do a shared whole screen, maybe. Share the whole screen. Window, entire screen. Maybe, yeah, just let's do entire screen. Okay, this is my bigquestionsanswer.com website. We're talking about more practical things. I don't like just talking about I don't like just describing what the definition of Islam is, like a lot of Muslims do. I like to actually use Islam to benefit humanity. It's like fussing about. There are important details about like the tool called Islam, but we've got to use the tool to help people, and very few Muslims are interested in that. But anyway, yep, 3412, 3412. So I'm going to go 3413 because this is what Ahmadi Muslims use, and Ahmadi Muslims count Bismillah as the first verse. I don't know why Sunni Muslims don't think it's a verse of the Quran. And to Solomon we subjected the wind and its morning course and evening, and we caused a fount of molten. Okay, and the jinn. I don't understand what was the question. Let's go back here. Khalid can't seem to address the chapter of the Quran. He keeps acting like he can't understand it. I think you made a comment and nobody understood what you were talking about. It was put on the stream for 1 second, and I briefly saw it, I think. Let's see if we get lucky. But showing it again won't make much difference anyway. Khalid, can you explain the laws of nature, Suleiman, as he controlled the wind? I don't understand. I really don't understand the question. Like, what? Oh, like maybe you're thinking that because I'm giving a reasonable attempt to explain how you can have a virgin birth, you think I can explain everything in science? I don't understand. I don't. It's really weird. I don't. You got to flesh out your questions more clearly if you want them to be answered, I suppose. Anyway, let's go on to here. Um, from the Qadiani perspective, it would be fair to say Maryam was also a man. If so, why does Allah refer to Maryam as a woman? So I think I had a quick look at these. That's probably the strongest or best argument. Yeah. Okay. So as I said in the beginning of the live stream, I think people don't fully understand what a hermaphrodite is. You might not visit. It might not be visible. The two genitalia or the of the different sexes, let's say, might not actually be visible. It could be partly internal. So and the examples I gave that I talked through, but to be honest, I went through the individual examples very quickly. But I remember all three examples, the people identified as women, probably because that was the main thing that was apparent on their bodies, probably breasts and whatever, all that kind of stuff. And there was some element of a male, maybe genitalia or something about something masculine about them, right? And of course, there are variations even within chromosomes. There are variations. Of course, it's a minority, so yep, Mariam was a woman is the short answer. I'm just doing a quick live stream. I'll be finished in a second. So what else is there? But good point. I'll probably respond to it in a bit. To attribute something to Mariam, didn't say is to do to the Bani Israel did accused her of adultery. So I'm not sure how that. Okay, so I think I get the main point, which is it doesn't say the Quran doesn't say that she was a hermaphrodite. It could be concluded that she was if we're trying to be rational about things. Okay, here we go. We've got a live chat here. What does it say here? Nabi Musa sent for children. Sent for children of Israel. 1300, probably years later, Nabi Isa sent to revive the tribes of Israel. Nabi Muhammad, so Nabi means prophet for people who don't know. Sent for people. 1300 years later. Yes. Okay. So basically, what I understand Ramiz, I think Ramiz is an Ahmadi Muslim. I think I've seen you around, isn't it? He's basically saying that Jesus, peace be upon him, came 1300 years later after Moses. So Moses brought the law of Judaism, and to revive it, Jesus was sent in the same way. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was sent 1300 years after Prophet Muhammad, and for similar reasons. There's a mosquito. Go away, mosquito. Okay, so anyway, thanks for your comment. I'm just going to try to whiz through the room a few more comments here. So anyway, what was this? So yeah, things are not always said but inferred is a quick response to that. I wonder so the inference, why is it inferred, is if you think God is all wise and the best planner, then it's very easy to see that God would have known. What was it? That it would be required. There's a good reason, by the way, that Maryam gave virgin birth. I don't want to go into too much, but it was like basically it was something to do with the Israelites had reached such a low standard that there was no man of high enough standard to father a prophet, basically, is what I understand. So there's reasons for everything that Allah does, and so Allah could have foreseen these situations, being all wise, just planner, and all this kind of stuff, and could have easily made a law rather than have to break some of His laws, which doesn't seem to be as wise. Who knows? I'm only a human being, right? I don't know. I can't fully understand everything, right? But it seems to be based on logic, wiser of Allah to be able to predict everything and include all miracles as well within the laws of nature that He's created. Anyway, I wonder what King Abdullah of Jordan would think about this. See, the great thing about King Abdullah is that he doesn't let sectarian violence and stuff ruin the country. He's kept it stable. He's a very smart guy, let's say. And also, I'm careful not to wind people up in public as well. So I understand the need for stability in countries and things like that. So but I don't believe in sectarian violence and hate, and I do believe in people trying to understand each other. This is a very Islamic idea: no compulsion in matters of religion. I feel like Amir Qureshi doesn't believe in that. I think Jordan. I wonder what king of Jordan, Abdullah II, Ibn al-Hussein, the full name, think of this, especially when it's being said in his country by a man who is in every way and form making a mockery. Not really making a mockery. Why do you say this is okay? This is interesting. I mean, I'm not even sure if I can take this guy too seriously, but let's take him seriously. So saying Mary is a hermaphrodite is a mockery of Mary. This is something that was basically sort of, inferred by saying astaghfirullah. Why would you say astaghfirullah to hermaphrodite? There are hermaphrodites that Allah has created. Are you saying that Allah's a bad creator? That there's so many beautiful things that Allah creates. Why are you against hermaphrodites? Why is it an insult to be a hermaphrodite? Allah is an artist, an amazing creator. Just look at it. So if Allah creates a hermaphrodite, it's probably an amazing thing. It is an amazing thing, I would say. So it's just a bias towards just not believing, I suppose, and hating on hermaphrodites. Do you hate on insects that are hermaphrodites? Anyway, never mind. Let's move on. In Surah Tahrim, ayah number 12, Allah says, a daughter of Imran. So we've covered this. Hermaphrodite can be mostly or most obviously one particular sex. Brother, please don't give these guys any attention. It's bad when you just let them talk. So you believe in censorship? Okay. I mean, you can curate, of course. Everybody's got to let them talk the whole way without correcting them and making our beloved people into humans. Making our beloved people into humans. I was confused about that last bit, but anyway. So I think he doesn't like guests talking, or he did send me a message, brother. I don't know. Anyway, so we gave each other equal chance to respond. I even encouraged Bashir during the live stream, please give me an answer to what I'm saying. That's a normal discussion. You don't believe in normal discussion, you don't believe in logical discussion. So I wonder what you believe in. I'm sure you believe when the Muslims are at Speaker's Corners, a famous debate place, and they're talking, that those Muslims should have a chance to talk. So do you believe only Muslims should have a of your particular thought process. Maybe you believe only people who agree with you should be allowed to talk, and everybody else should not be allowed to talk. That's a very Hitler mindset, isn't it? Like, you decide everything. Very interesting mindset. And the point is, I want people to reflect on Sunni Muslims. Like, do you agree with these people who don't believe in open discussion, logic? Okay, here's a question. Do you believe religion should be rational? Because us Muslims, especially at Speaker's Corner, are using rational arguments to beat, let's say, the Trinity all the time. So are we two-faced? Are we just rational in certain times? Either give rational arguments all the time, or if you don't believe in rational arguments, don't give rational arguments at all. So be clear about that, Sunni Muslims. Astaghfirullah, what a strong argument. Okay. Astaghfirullah for those people who don't know, who are not Muslims watching this. I got a response from a non-Muslim who, after watching on my first debate with Bashir, Ahmadi fact checkers, he said, I'm more convinced. He keeps being more convinced the Ahmadiyya Muslim point of view is the best version of Islam. He's not currently a Muslim yet. So yeah, keep giving your irrational arguments, and you're only gonna make yourself less popular, less appealing to rational people, let's say. Anyway, how can a Muslim believe in probabilities? It's like saying, can a Muslim believe in maths? And Muslims basically invented maths. I don't know. What do you say? Oh. Okay, probabilities is a way of defining logic. It's like saying, what's the most probable, do you believe in flat earth or not flat earth? You look at the probabilities of one thing existing on it. You go for the most probable if you're an honest person. It's just another form of logic. So are you illogical? You're against logic? Very weird. I don't get it. And I'm getting tired of. So one or two good comments, but not a lot of good comments. So let me get this straight. Khalid wants logic when it comes to godly miracles. However, when it comes to his so-called promised Messiah, doesn't question logic. So I believe that the promised Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, is the promised Messiah. It is entirely based on logic. There's so much logic. I've been giving. So logic. Okay, what kind of logic? So like literally the sun and the moon got eclipsed for him, and people admit that. This is just one example, right? Very precise. And this is one of the things I think we will have to talk about with Bashir, right? This particular prophecy, eclipse of the sun and the moon, said in the hadith, which I don't want to make this a whole topic, which is supposedly false, yet God allowed it to be fulfilled for apparently the wrong person who's not really a promised Messiah. Anyway, we got more comments. Who have we got? I got a haha, a lol, and a haha. Okay, I'm glad I'm being entertaining. It's good. It's good. Okay, where are we? So yeah, I do use logic for the promised Messiah entirely. I'm a very logical person. You know what? I'll tell you something shocking. I will leave Ahmadiyya if somebody gave me counter arguments, but I've been arguing for so long in Speaker's Corner, on live streams. I just don't get any reasonable answers. I get instead of if I'm talking about the Quran, and Muslims should like the Quran and should stick to the Quran as their primary source of evidence, and instead people just insult the promised Messiah. They can't. That's literally called ad hominem. Pretty much the definition of ad hominem is a bad thing, by the way. It means you can't argue. Basically, for people who don't know what that means, it means it's the phrase that goes with it. It's like if you can't fight the argument, you insult the person. I can't remember. So there's a nicer way of saying it. Like if you can't beat the argument, you try to insult the person. Sorry, I ruined the phrase. But anyway, basically just sidetracking, not arguing the actual point, just trying to insult the person rather than their argument. Like, there's a better phrase. I can't remember how it goes. Can you really remember? No. Anyway, staff of Moses. Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's also a miracle. I believe these miracles happened. I kept on repeating it. It's just that, like, it's good to be able to explain it. Isn't it better to have an explanation than no explanation? Okay. Okay. Anyway. Yes. Okay. The reason is it goes against the following verses. Wait a sec. It goes against the following verses of the Quran. Where are these following verses? Maryam. Okay, I'm glad somebody wrote something down. Then we sent her our angel appearing before perfectly formed. Okay, what's this? Again, the Quran can testify the miracle. This is why. Okay, I don't get. Look, okay, I think the people misunderstanding there's something. Okay, I believe the miracle happened. I'm just trying to explain the miracle rationally. I think most people, because they're brought up with an idea for so long, it's hard to get over an idea. They think that it's no longer a miracle if it can be explained. I think that's the problem. My grandfather accepted Ahmadiyya because of eclipse in Ramadan. MashaAllah. Wow. Um, so it's just they've assumed a definition of what a miracle is, and that's why so many of these Sunni Muslims are struggling with it. You know what? I could be like you if I was born a Sunni Muslim. I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm trying to be clear about that. But anyway, try not to be insulting. Maybe I'm being laughing inappropriately at times. I don't know. She appealed. I truly seek refuge. I'm actually kind of trying to finish. My wife is actually waiting for me to stop this little live stream, so I will try to finish off really quickly. I truly seek refuge. Okay, she responded. He replied. Okay, what's the argument? She conceived him, and it withdrew. Okay, I don't get it. Really don't get it. It's just quoted verses of the Quran. The fact this is a topic is disgusting. What again? Hermaphrodites, the creation of God. There are many hermaphrodites known, human hermaphrodites and other species hermaphrodites, and that's disgusting. You think the creation of God, that I would say who's the most amazing creator, fantastic artist, you think his creation is disgusting. Okay. But they all throw Ahmadiyya Dunya. Okay, I don't know what he's saying. Okay, this Khalid Safir is exposing himself. I love it. Me too. I love it. I have to say, I also love this live stream. I'm sure. You know what? I don't. You should be aware. Like I kind of mentioned, there are people who don't comment and who are listening quietly. This has also happened to me, Speaker's Corner. People, really, intelligent people with big YouTube channels or whatever, right? They would listen quietly, not disagreeing with what I'm saying. So there's a lot of people learning. So I don't know, 600 or so people watched this, right? Not 600 people commented, right? And 1,000 or more than 1,000 watched the other one. I'm sure somebody's learning something in these live streams, and that's good enough for me. I'm always looking for one or two people that I'm a quality, not quantity kind of guy. The reason is based on the Holy Quran, which is the majority. The Quran says, if you follow the majority, you'll be led away from the something of Allah, the truth of the way of Allah. So I never believe in following the masses or what the masses have got to say. I'm trying to get a few of the people who really want to think. It's really hard to think, maybe I wouldn't be able to think if I wasn't born an Ahmadi Muslim. So I'm just doing my responsibility. I'm not really particularly looking down on people. Sometimes I laugh because it's just out of sort of exhaustion of repeating the same things over and over. But anyway, my wife keeps giving me these looks. Stop the live streams. I'm going to stop the live stream. Do check in the pinned comment for the summary and references for my arguments. Please do prove me wrong. I love to see intelligent arguments. Um, yeah, I won't be saying crazy people though. I know where you're coming from, but it's just, you know what? I always say, because I study psychology, we're all pretty crazy. People might not appreciate that. If you look at things like Milgram's experiment, like you can easily be controlled to kill people. Yeah, yeah. I always try to even tell myself that I've got many, many weaknesses so that I'm always improving. Because just because, let's say, I'm an Ahmadi Muslim doesn't mean I know everything. In fact, I know there's so many things I don't know. There's so many improvements, so many weaknesses in, and the more I tell myself I'm flawed and weak and stupid, the more I'm capable of learning. I think that's the best way to be. Anyway, thank you, Mahmoud. But I appreciate your company today in this little live stream. Okay, it was kind of really for myself, just not for myself, but like I wasn't really expecting anybody to join me, but I just quickly did one. Where's the end stream button? Thank you very much. Peace be upon you, everybody. I like the way you talk with Sheikh Mohammed. Sheikh Mohammed. Oh, that video. That video. I'll just say, just as a comment, like I avoided talking to Muslims mostly, and just talking to English people and having intelligent conversations. And that one conversation made me think, oh my God, Sunni Muslims are so illogical. I literally, I'm not exaggerating. I felt like not talking to Sunni Muslims after that because it was so, like, the things he said was so embarrassing. He said things like, okay, so we went through an argument. One argument was that if you claim one particular verse of the Holy Quran, without going into too much, was you've got a choice now. If you deny Muslims can be prophets, doesn't mean they suddenly all can be prophets. This is another silly thing people get into. Then if you deny this, because there's a whole group of things connected in this particular verse, you have to also deny Muslims can be righteous. And he was like, yeah, well, you have to accept that. I was like, what? Did you actually say that? Okay, let's move on. It's like, it really made me feel like not talking to Sunni Muslims after that. But anyway, I only do this out of responsibility, not because I particularly enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy spreading the truth. Anyway, thank you very much. Peace be upon you, everybody, Sunni Muslims, non-Muslims, all kind of Muslims, Ahmadi Muslims. Bye, salam.